Coach, when you're reintegrating any player, especially a high-level, high-usage player like Paolo, what are the challenges of reintegrating, and how much time can it take to fully get that settled out?
With Paulo, he's done such a great job of just continuing to talk to his teammates, with the coaches, and he understands the situation, which is great, and figuring out, the time frame of when he's in, when he's out, but just finding a way to get a rhythm. And I think that's what he understands. But getting him back in the fold, there's going to be moments where it just looks a little different just because our guys in rotations will be different. But I think he does such a great job of communicating with our guys and the coaches to see exactly how he fits right back into what we're doing.
You said this morning Paolo is on a minute restriction. What are those minutes? With Tristan coming back to the bench potentially, how does that impact that second unit getting Tristan back?
Tristan and I talked today a little bit about it. I'd be remiss if I didn't say what a great job he's done. Stepping in that starting role. His confidence, his swagger, the way he's played basketball for us and Paolo being out has been huge. And now with that second unit, unfolding, it just, gives, that group, more confidence, more spacing on the floor, just his ability to, create plays as also knock shots down.
Both of these teams tonight have had this focus on trying to increase their pace, get out and transition a lot more. What's the challenge of kind of changing the mindset, especially with both teams having a group that's been pretty established together, playing a certain way? What's the challenge of trying to change that mindset a little bit and think to play faster and maybe do things that they haven't been doing over the last few years?
I mean, it's just finding ways to make adjustments. The league has, gone to faster pace and are understanding why you're doing it. And I think for us, we've talked about it being able to allow our defense to spark our offense to convert on the other end. But a big portion of it is just, helping guys recognize that it's easier opportunities, getting easy baskets, creating advantages early and before defense can get set. I think that's so important for our teams.
Saw Noah get some run here in the last week or so, and then Noah comes in, or Chase comes in the last game. Just what does it say about those two guys that they could go some time without playing, and then to be able to come in and give you guys a spark like they'd have?
It says so much about them, and I say it all the time. It says so much about our coaches, the ability to keep these guys ready. So whenever their number is called, they're ready to step into a game and perform. And both of those guys provided a great spark for us in a time that it was needed. And so I think it continues to be the message of staying ready. And when your number is called, you're ready to go and do whatever coaches are asking you to do.
You mentioned the other night how you felt that there was only 8 minutes of good basketball. How do you get that from going from 8 minutes to 48, and how do you think the group has responded to that in the locker room?
I think there's a seriousness to knowing what we need to do, how we have to play. The way you approach the game is that you start up one possession at a time, and you got to focus on those moments and those possessions. You can't look to the end of the game in the beginning. You got to start it, play the first quarter the way you're supposed to, with the energy and effort that you're supposed to come out when games start.
Coach, obviously every game matters, but tonight's matchup is kind of a preview for something more critical next week when you guys face them in the NBA Cup. If you don't put together a 48-minute performance against this team, what can happen? How can they make you pay?
I mean, the pace of the game, they've put up 140 plus a few times this season. So their ability to get out and transition, get quick shots, make quick decisions, attack the basket to get downhill. And if they're knocking shots down, they pose a major problem. Spo's always done an incredible job defensively to be disruptive and have you always on your toes. But again, tonight's tonight, and we'll work about the Cup next week.
Yeah, kind of follow up on that. I was going to ask you, are you looking at this differently? What, I guess, to pivot off what I was going to ask you, how do you view the Cup? Has it been a positive so far for you? And what's your thoughts on what you've learned from your team during the process?
Yeah, I think the Cup is great. That added bonus at the end. Depending on if you get it or not for winning, gives something to these guys with that extra competitive edge in each one of these games. As for the next week, to that point, that's next week. We've got 2 games prior to that, and so we want to make sure we take care of tonight, and then we'll worry about the Cup when it comes.
Everyone good?
Thank you all. Appreciate it.